So Doug, thanks for pouring the next wine that you've brought for us. Can you just tell us a bit about what you brought?
Yes, I grabbed this off my wine rack, the last bottle that I think we have left in the UK, and it's a wine that from a grower, when I first tasted it, and I first tasted his wines, gave me a bit of a wine epiphany. So the grower is Walter Mlečnik and his son Clement, and he's really part of, I suppose, of the early skin contact movement. He's based in Vipava, very close to the border, about a kilometre or two from the border with Italy, Friuli. His family, or he has been working sort of organically, but not for that long, and I think he had a bit of an epiphany himself. And started making wines in a much more sort of natural and less on the sort of aromatics and much more on the sort of intensity of texture and flavour. And this wine called Cuvée Ana, or Ana Cuvée, named after his grandmother, I think I'm right, Simon, or dedicated to his grandmother, is 2010 vintage. This wine always sees a long time aging before release. As Walter would say, that basically he wants the wine to be walking and not just crawling when it first sees the light of day. So he does, thankfully, he does the aging for us. So the skin contact, it's deceptive. Oh, I should say the grape varieties. It's what you would call a field blend. It's got some Malvasia, it's got some Chardonnay, it's got some Sauvignas, which is also known as Friulano, and it's got the great Ribolla in it as well, or Ribolla Gialla as it's called on the other side. It sees comparatively little skin contact, doesn't like using more than sort of 3 to 5 days maximum, which is surprising considering the colour. But I think there's a Slovenian feeling, or a feeling in Slovenia, that you don't want to do really long maceration. You want more of an infusion of flavour rather than extraction of from the skins. And so I think you've got something which is sort of very, very elegant always, but does need the time. It does spend the best part of 2 years, maybe a touch more in barrel, 500 litres to 3,000 litres, and then the same amount or even more time in bottle, and then it's released, usually after sort of 5-6 years. And at that point it's pretty harmonious, but still there's noticeable tannin, there's lots of structure, and I like the interplay of the different grape varieties. Ribolla is sort of like, gives something sort of like the sort of bitter sort of fruits, and then you've got like freshness from the Sauvignas, sort of certain sort of aromatic quality, but they all sort of weave in and out. And as the wine opens up, I love caraffing this and just drinking it over 1 day, 2 days, even 3 days. It holds its own beautifully, and sometimes it closes down and sometimes it opens up, which to me is one of the great attractions of orange wines or skin contact wines, is they just move in so many different ways, in a mysterious way as well. And they're not sort of temperamental. I think they're very just together and solid, and this wine to me is something really quite magnificent, quite beautiful.